features of Indian Constitution or salient features of Indian Constitution? Features of Indian Constitution or salient features of Indian Constitution. You look, we are not going to tell you in a manner that because emergency is also a feature of Indian Constitution. No. How we can summarize, how we are supposed to write the basics, that why, what is the basic feature of Indian Constitution? Then first, it is a democratic republic. Democratic republic is the first feature of Indian Constitution, and even that is incorporated by preamble to the term democratic republic. And time and again we repeat the fact that whenever we are referring democratic republic, democratic means we are promoting the accountability, rule of majority to some extent, but republic means here right, liberty, and right liberties become most important. Therefore, somehow republicanism is denoting toward the constitutionalism. Republicanism is right is important, liberty is important, because elected government is not a sufficient condition of a democracy. Because democracy means election. But we know that various authoritative government, they also held the election. Even there is a provision of election in China. But there is a no competitive election. People are not supposed to participate in election, and there is no permission of non-communist party for participating in the election. Thereafter, first feature of our constitution is democratic republic. And whenever we are referring democratic republic, therefore we are incorporating the philosophy of Indian Constitution, preamble, fundamental right, DPSP. Elected government, therefore parliament. Whenever we are only using one term, republic, democratic, because democratic means parliament. So we are having the government by parliament. Democratic means elected parliament, elected council of minister, and automatically elected PM. This is the democratic. Republicanism means fundamental right. Therefore, we can summarize the every democratic and republican feature of constitution in one word: republic and democratic. Republic and democratic. This is first feature of Indian Constitution. And then it is a separation of power. This is very interesting. Even normally, this may be a puzzle. This may be a puzzle. Why? Because the idea of separation of power means there are three wings of government: legislature, executive, and judiciary. All the branches of government, they are perform the different functions, and they're allocated the different tasks. And one organ of government will also put some kind of a check and balance over others organ of the government. Normally, what we assume that this principle of separation of power is not a feature of parliamentary form of government. This separation of power is a feature of a presidential form of government. Because best model of separation of power is the Constitution of US. But very interestingly, it is a republic. Republic denotes the separation of power. That is the point. Parliamentary form of government of Britain believes in the principle of a supremacy of the parliament. Therefore, parliament becomes the sole center of power. Parliament became the supreme center of power. And that is the point. Indian founding, the founding fathers of Indian Constitution, what they thought that, no, they are not going to adopt the supremacy of the British Parliament. This may be democratic, but we are going to believe in separation of power. And why separation of power is important? And with separation of power, we are not allowing concentration of power, because we know what Lord Acton said, that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Separation of power means a kind of a limited government. Separation of power means government is limited by the power of constitution. And that is the point. Separation of power directly promote the democratic government, republican government. If we are not allowing separation of power, normally it is going to produce an authoritarian government. And that is the point in the US model. In US model, Even president is check and balance by judiciary. Even president is accountable toward the people, check and balance. And then whatever, even the representative house, that is the lower house of the American Congress. Congress here means Parliament of America. There's no the Congress. Even there are 438 members in the House of Representative in US, merely 100 members in Senate. But Senate can block any legislation passed by Representative House. Here, democracy is not only numbers game. Senate is comprised of 100 members. House of Representatives is comprised of 438 members. But even Senate can block any legislation passed by the Representative House. Check and balance. Even then, both houses in Congress, Senate as well as the Representative House, they can pass a resolution for removal of the president, that is known as impeachment. The same we are opting in India. That is point. Look, even legislature is allocating the job of lawmaking. Executive is given the task of policy making and implementing the law. And judiciary is a dispute settlement mechanism. Although later we have to discuss, later judiciary also became instrument of social justice too. So whether judiciary is only a mechanism of dispute settlement or it is a kind of a social instrument of social justice too, that become the part of debate. But this one is separation of power. This separation of power ensure that we are not permitting a supremacy of judiciary and neither allowing supremacy of parliament. A balance. Therefore, we are furthering golden mean, middle path. Middle path is the best one. Therefore, we are opting separation of power. And that is a point. It appears that our constitution is more impacted by US than Britain. Because whenever we are taking parliament, it appears that we are following British model. But even in Britain, the monarch was a hereditary. Monarch is not elected. Here, head of a state is not elected. In the Britain, here our president is elected. That is a form of a republicanism. In Britain, what happened? House of Lord. In Britain, House of Lord is not elected. Monarch is not elected. And this is not according to democratic tradition. And that is the point. In United States of America, everyone is elected. Therefore, it appears that US is more democratic nation. And it is US which incorporate the provision of fundamental right in their constitution. Thereafter, separation of power. Separation of power is the key. Legislature, executive and judiciary. And recently, you know that when the discussion was going on in the Supreme Court, as far as the related issue to abrogation of Article 370, then advocate said that you must reconsider over the wisdom of government. Then just replied that no. We are not here to check the wisdom of government, but we are here only to ensure that whether government is not surpassing their jurisdictional function. Judiciary is here to only ensure that every organ of government is performing the task which is given by the Constitution. We cannot check their wisdom, that whether law is just or unjust. This is not domain of judges. Lawmaking is a function of a parliament. But parliament cannot make any law against the Constitution. Parliament cannot make any law against the basic structure. Parliament cannot make any law against the fundamental right. In that case, we are going to nullify it, the law made by the parliament. And this is a separation of power. These are the features of Indian Constitution. Rather than writing fundamental right, DPSP, then president, parliament, this is not a real example to express the features of a parliamentary form of our Constitution. And then what is the third feature? Third feature is federalism. Federalism is a third feature of Indian Constitution. And this is very interesting. And we know that what is the federalism? India had decided to live like a joint family. That is federalism. It means what is a federalism? Again, I am saying that we are not talking about federal government. We are talking about federalism. Federalism means ideology. Ideology means how we can make unity in diversity. That is a federalism. And you remember, a unity is not a homogeneity. Whenever we are referring unity, how we can make a unity is not a homogeneity. And that is point. We have decided to live together. And federalism means a kind of joint family where there is a sharing of power. अच्छा, आपकी फैमिली फेडरल होगी तो ज़्यादा अच्छा होगा या यूनिटरी? फेडरल मीन्स किड्स आर फ्री टू buy Cadbury's, federal form of government. Then Dadaji is here to only sit in the house. Dadaji must be given due respect, but Dadaji should not allow to interfere in the activity of everyone. You are free to move anywhere. We are allowed to watch the television. अभी दादाजी ने केवल संस्कारी देखना है. No. Make a federal arrangement in the family. And therefore, we know that why partnership breaks down in the middle because of the unitary practices. We must learn the federal principle to live in life. Because what happens, कैसे partnership होते, always we try to dominate our partner. ऐसे करो, वैसे करो, ऐसा क्यों नहीं किया? कमाल की बात है यार. That is a point. और यंगस्टर्स के बीच में रिलेशन तो ऐसे शुरू होते हैं बट डेमोक्रेटिक प्रिंसिपल से. Or after marriage, then suddenly husband became authoritarian. Then husband tried to change the family as a unitary form of government. Don't take it personally. This is only this, but actually this is what happening. Do not try to make a unitary form of government in your family. And you know that why there is always dispute in family? Because one person try to concentrate power in their own hand. Therefore, try to distribute the power, divide the power. Then we can live as society. Therefore, we are here accommodating Tamilian, Telugu, Kannadi. And therefore, this is a social contract that we are going to respect the identity of everyone. And in this principle says that never try to impose Hindi over anyone. That will be counterproductive. And sometimes what happens, what we come to know that disintegrative forces also emerge because of the too much unity. Too much unity is also become counterproductive. Therefore, allow the people, allow the linguistic group to speak their language, allow every religion to freely profess their religion, practice their religion. And this is the principle of federalism. That was not in Britain. That we have not borrowed from US, because US federal model is too much decentralized. What we were looking, autonomy for a state, but some sort of unity too, because of our different circumstances. Federalism, third principle of Indian Constitution. Then, what is the next principle? Secularism. And we remember, secularism, you look, Parliament is an institution. Parliament is an institution. And whenever we are referring separation of power, then we are referring Parliament, Judiciary, and Executive. Therefore, Parliament, Judiciary, Executive is become the part of principle of separation of power. Therefore, I am not writing that parliamentary form of government is a basic structure. Although Supreme Court also said that separation of power is a result of parliamentary form of government too. So we can add parliamentary form of government too, but that automatically includes separation of power. Thereafter, what is there? Secularism. And we know that we have decided, and the same principle we are going to read out in the chapter of fundamental right. Secularism means there will be no religion of a state. A state will not keep her own religion. Even religion is a matter of a choice of individual. Religion is a matter of a choice of a individual, and therefore no religion, even PM is not supposed to subscribe about any religion. Modi ji can believe in any religion. Therefore, we have to make a difference between individual and PM. There is a personal life of PM where he is free to profess, practice any religion, but being a PM, being a DM, being a CM, nobody can practice his own religion. Because what is the best religion of the PM, CM, and DM? Serve the people. That is secularism. Therefore, what we have said that we neither oppose religion nor accepted religion, but state will be neutral towards religion. And that is point. Even 15th August. 15th August is a secular festival. State never celebrate Dashara. State never celebrate Deepavali. State never celebrate Muharram. Because this is a religion of a people. State is not opposing religion. State is not subscribing to religion. But what is there? A religion is an issue of a profess, practice, and propagation of a citizens, individuals, because right to religion is available for individual apart from citizens. And then, lastly, if we are having democratic republic form of government, separation of power, federalism, secularism, so in that society, ultimately, there will be fraternity. I'm summing the debate, then you can ask the question. And whenever we are looking fraternity, you know that whenever our constitution is made, so we cannot reject the principle that unity and integrity of a nation was the most important ideals in the mind of framers of Indian constitution. That we know very well. And we know that after independence, India became a state. You remember, India became a state, but the process of a nation building is still going on. Therefore, you have to make a difference between after 1947. So India became a state, and therefore India set up their own administrative system. And that can be done in overnight. But we know that anyway, we are keeping our own armed forces, we are keeping our police forces. That is true. But we know that how we can protect India, how we can make unity in India, where everybody is having the emotional attachment toward the nation, making our boundary intact. This is an administrative meaning of unity and integrity. What is more important? Psychological unity. What is psychological unity? I am proud to be an Indian. Again, I am repeating that. I am proud to be an Indian, not I am proud to be a follower of any particular religion. Not, I may be Bengali, I may be Tamilian, I may be Telugu. But first and foremost, I am an Indian. Therefore, whosoever live in India, they are brothers and sisters. Except one. They are brothers and sisters. That is one fraternity. How you can unify the India? Not through the making of dam, not through making of Bande Bharat. How you can unify India? Because every Indians understand that we are Indian first. Every person says that, no, I am first Indian. And we are having psychological attachment. For me, India is my first loyalty. Therefore, unity is not denying the diversity. But on the scale of hierarchy, India comes first. This is unity, and that is point. आप जानते हो सबसे गहरा क्या होता है? लव. Love is always emotional. It's not rational. आपने सुना है love is always blind. जहां रीजन आता वहां लव नहीं होता. And why? If I am loving my nation, this is nationalism. Love is essence. लव में तो तेरी मिट्टी में मिल जावा, ये लव ही तो है. रीजन कहता है मिट्टी में कैसे मिल जावा, मिट्टी उठा ले वहां, कैसे मिट्टी मिल जावा भाई, अपना अजीब सी बात है. एंड दैट इज पॉइंट. लुक इन टर्म्स ऑफ पॉलिटी. देयरफॉर स्टेट बिल्डिंग इज easier or nation building is easier? And that is the point. What is more important? Nation building. Nation building means psychological attachment of the people. State building means making a state, making government, making infrastructure, making boundaries intact. And that is point. This is a feature of Indian Constitution. How we can develop fraternity in order to promoting nation building. In order to promoting nation building, because every Indian think that they are one, united. And because we are now given slogan, one earth, one family. This is the feature of Indian Constitution. And we will start from first feature, democratic republic. Again, I am saying that emergency is not a feature, it is exceptional provisions. And what happens once we want to write the things in the precisely in 150 words, you cannot write everything. You have to write the essence. You must remember that we are not supposed to write everything in our answer.